Hey, my name's Andrew, and I've got a pretty cool job because I get to run you guys through some of the new features that are included in Cubase Pro 9. So let's go take a look. Cubase Pro 9 is the most complete DAW on the market, and we've got a diverse range of users. Of course, some of our users will be working in professional studios, and we also know that many of our users are working at home or in project studios. So one of the biggest challenges we face is getting all of this functionality and putting it together in an environment that makes it easy for everyone to access these features. With every software release, we're adding workflow enhancements, which makes it easier for you to find your way around Cubase. Now in Cubase Pro 9, the first thing you're going to notice is that there's a new transport bar situated down the bottom of the project window. This removes the need to have the floating transport window, and everything's now situated down the bottom so you can find your way around your project very quickly. So up in the top right-hand corner, you'll notice these three new buttons. By clicking on the button on the left, I can show and hide the inspector. The button on the right allows me to show and hide the rack zone. But one of the most important new features is this button in the middle. And clicking on that will open up the all-new lower zone. And this is the zone concept. The first thing you'll notice is that the mix console is now included inside of the project window. And it's scalable, so I can resize it if I want to work on a mix, and I can move it back down if I want to work inside of my project. But it's not just the mix console that's included in the lower zone. Now every editor that's available to you inside of Cubase Pro 9 is also able to be opened inside of the lower zone. So if I double click on a specific event, I can start to make changes. It's not just MIDI, it's also audio. So I can double click on an audio event and start working inside of the sample edit window. A massive feature request from our users was to include an easy-to-use sampler. But we've thought about it and taken it a step further, and we're introducing the all-new sampler track. The new sampler track is housed inside of the new lower zone. Now there's a number of different ways we can work with the sampler track inside a project, and I'm going to run you through them. One of the most important ways is to add additional sound into a project. For instance, I've got a drum track here, but I want to add an additional cymbal. So I've gone over to my media bay and I've found a cymbal that I want to insert, and I just right mouse click on that specific sample and then say create sampler track. And bang, there's a sample inside of the new sampler track, and it's already mapped to every key on my keyboard. The sampler track interacts perfectly with the audio inside of our project window, which is really handy because, say, in this case, the bass players played a bass line and then they've gone and left the studio, but I want to change that bass line and just manipulate it slightly. So I can go up to a specific event and just drag it straight down into the sampler track, and now I can play a different line whilst retaining the tone that was used inside of the bass track. The sampler track lets us manipulate sound through things like the audio warp function, pitch, filters, and of course envelope. But to take sound design a step further, we can also transfer the sample over to other Steinberg instruments. Also new in Cubase Pro 9 is the ability to sidechain into VST3 instruments. And I've got RetroLog 2 open here, and I can play the sample and then use the filter, envelope, and effects to manipulate the sound further. A huge feature request from our many users was to have the ability to undo and redo inside of the mix console. We all know that mixing is a really complex process, so rather than just giving you the ability to undo and redo, we've also included a whole new section on the left-hand side of the mix console, and that's the history section. Every time we make a minute change in the mix, to a fader, to a pan, to an EQ, even to an external or a third-party plugin, it registers over in the history section. Now this gives us a complete overview of this mix session, and we can go through all of the steps we've made to a particular point in the mix and either make changes or remove that component of the mix. A critical component of any mix is equalization, and new in Cubase Pro 9 is a frequency EQ. It's an 8-band EQ, and every band offers mid-side and linear phase support, which are two powerhouse features when it comes to equalization. Also new, you'll notice down underneath the frequency spectrum is this piano scroll. So we can go in and pinpoint any frequency on the frequency spectrum and match it directly to the piano scroll underneath the frequency spectrum. We've also included the ability to completely customize how you view the EQ spectrum. And another really important thing about an EQ is it sounds really good. We don't have time in one short video to show you all of the new features that are included in Cubase Pro 9. So here's a quick overview of some of the other features. Being able to collaborate from anywhere in the world is so important in this day and age, and we've updated VST Transit and the VST Connect. There's over 400 drum loops and presets in the new production grooves, and more importantly, there's a whole new kaleidoscope library which is designed by sound designers for the new sampler track. Stability is paramount when you're being creative, and we've introduced a new Plug-in Sentinel which scans your plugins and identifies troublesome plugins. We've updated the algorithms and interface for several plugins, including the auto pan, the maximizer, and the brick wall limiter. We've included multiple marker tracks, which allows you to have a number of marker tracks with different data, and also we can export audio based on the markers in this track. Cubase Pro 9 is a complete package for a diverse range of users operating anywhere in the world under a number of different production environments. Thanks for taking the time to stop by and check out these new features. I hope you enjoy being creative with them.